Mark and Sarah are reviewing Mark's notes for an interview next week. I feel ready for the basic questions, but I'm worried about answering the why us question effectively.
That's where the company research pays off. Tell me, what do you know about their corporate culture?
I checked their website. It says they focus on innovation and have a flat hierarchy. Is that enough?
It's a start, but you need to go deeper. Did you look at their recent press releases? That shows you their current priorities.
Good point. I hadn't thought of looking up their new section. I was mainly focusing on their main products and services.
That's essential, but you should also research their competitors. If you understand the market, you can explain how you'd add unique value.
Wow, researching competitors, that's taking it a step further. How can I use that in the interview?
You can say, I noticed that Company X is challenging you in the AI space. My experience in data analysis would help you address that gap.
That sounds professional. So, checking their latest projects, looking at their social media, what else should I check?
Try to find out about any recent challenges or major shifts in the industry. It shows you follow the trends, not just the company itself.
Okay. So, I need to focus on context, the industry, the competition, and their current challenges. I need to make my answers relevant.
Exactly. And before you finish, prepare 3 specific questions to ask them. Make sure they are intelligent questions based on your research, like what is the biggest challenge your department will face next quarter?
Brilliant advice, Sarah. That approach makes me feel much more confident about the interview. Thanks for the heads up on the press releases.
Anytime, Mark. Preparation is key to interview success.
Liam and Olivia, colleagues, are having a lively but polite discussion about the merits of remote work versus working from the office.
Olivia, I've been thinking a lot about the work from home debate. Personally, I think going back to the office full-time is the best option for productivity.
That's an interesting perspective, Liam. I beg to differ, actually. From my point of view, remote work has significantly improved my focus and work-life balance.
I can see where you're coming from, but I can't help but feel that face-to-face collaboration is irreplaceable. Those spontaneous brainstorms you get in the office, you just don't get those online.
I understand what you're saying, and there's definitely value in in-person interactions. However, I'd argue that virtual tools have evolved so much that we can simulate many of those collaborative moments effectively.
Perhaps. But for me, the lack of a clear boundary between home and work is a real issue. I find myself working longer hours, and it's harder to switch off.
I agree to some extent. It can be challenging to set boundaries. But on the other hand, think about the commute. All that wasted time and energy. In my opinion, getting that time back is a huge benefit.
That's a fair point. The commute is certainly a drag. But don't you think team cohesion suffers when everyone is spread out? It's harder to build a strong company culture.
I respect your opinion, but I don't necessarily agree. If a company makes an effort, they can still foster a great culture remotely. Regular team calls, virtual social events, it's all possible.
I suppose so. But it seems to me that young professionals miss out on mentoring opportunities. Learning by observing experienced colleagues is much harder over a video call.
I see your point about mentoring, and it's a valid concern. Maybe a hybrid model would be the best solution. A few days in the office, a few at home.
Now, that's something I could get behind. A hybrid approach might offer the best of both worlds. We'd still get the in-person moments, but also the flexibility.
Exactly. As far as I'm concerned, flexibility is key to employee satisfaction these days. It also might allow companies to hire talent from a wider geographical area.
You've definitely given me food for thought, Olivia. I still think full-time in the office has its advantages, but I'm more open to hybrid now.
Glad to hear it, Liam. It's a complex issue with no easy answers, but having these discussions can help us find the right balance for everyone.
Ms. Thompson greets Leo in the interview room, shaking hands warmly.
Good morning, Leo. Thanks for coming. I'm Ms. Thompson, Senior Project Manager.
Good morning. A pleasure to meet you. I'm looking forward to learning more.
Can you walk me through your CV and tell me about your relevant experience?
My last role was admin assistant. I managed schedules and supported various projects. I streamlined workflows and handled inquiries, sparking my interest in project coordination.
Our role involves stakeholder communication. Describe conveying complex info. How do you explain technical concepts to someone without a technical background?
I explained new software to a non-expert client. I used analogies and focused on benefits. I also created a simple step-by-step guide. The client understood it perfectly.
That shows good problem solving. How do you handle multiple competing deadlines?
I use digital tools and a planner. I categorize tasks by urgency and importance. I break large projects into smaller steps and use regular check-ins with the team.
Very organized. How do you contribute to a positive team dynamic?
I believe in active listening and clear communication. I offer help and am open to feedback.
Let's talk challenges. What is your biggest professional weakness?
I used to be hesitant to delegate tasks, preferring to do everything myself. Now I focus on effective delegating and empowering others, improving project times.
Good example of self-awareness. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
In 5 years, I see myself as a seasoned project manager, ideally still with this company.
Excellent ambition. Do you have any questions for me, Leo?
Yes. Could you elaborate on the typical day-to-day responsibilities here?
It involves coordinating meetings, updating timelines, client communication, and documentation.
And what are the immediate performance indicators for success in the first 6 months?
We look for proactive engagement and managing small projects independently.
Clear. One last question. What's the company culture like here?
We foster innovation, support, open dialogue, and continuous learning. It's dynamic. Thank you, Leo. We'll be in touch by next Friday regarding the second round.
Thank you very much. I look forward to hearing from you. Sarah and Peter, who are meeting for the first time for a volunteer initiative, begin their introductory conversation.
Excuse me, are you Peter? We were supposed to meet regarding the volunteer initiative.
Yes, that's me. Hi Sarah, nice to finally put a face to the name.
Likewise. So, perhaps you can start by telling me a little bit about your background and why you're interested in this project.
Certainly. I currently work as a graphic designer for a tech startup in the city center. Before that, I spent several years in the non-profit sector.
That's a fascinating combination. What motivated the switch from non-profit to design?
Primarily the desire to develop a more specific creative skill set, but I missed the feeling of community engagement. That's why I'm looking to contribute here.
I understand. And in your free time, what do you enjoy doing?
My main passion is photography. I love urban exploration and capturing cityscapes. It's a great way to relax and disconnect from the screen.
That's a wonderful hobby. How long have you been doing that?
For about 5 years now. It started as a way to commute more mindfully, and now I even sell some prints online occasionally.
That's impressive. Well, Peter, thank you for sharing that. I think your skills could be very valuable to our team.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm eager to get started.
Sarah is interviewing for a marketing manager position at a tech startup. She is talking to Mr. Evans, the head of talent.
Thank you for coming in today, Sarah. To start, could you tell me why you decided to apply for this role?
Certainly. I've been following your company for a while and I'm impressed by your growth. I believe my background in digital strategy makes me a good fit.
Interesting. I see you used to work for a large agency. What was the most challenging project you dealt with there?
I once had to oversee a campaign launch with a very tight deadline. We were running out of time, but I managed to coordinate the team and we hit our targets.
Impressive. And how do you handle pressure? This environment can be quite fast-paced.
I actually thrive under pressure. I'm used to multitasking and I always prioritize my workload to stay organized.
That's good to hear. What are your expectations regarding the salary and benefits package?
Based on my experience and current market rates, I'm looking for a competitive salary, but I'm also interested in professional development opportunities.
We offer a training budget for every employee. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, could you tell me more about the company culture and the team I would be working with?
Certainly. The team is quite diverse and we value collaboration. We often have brainstorming sessions to come up with new ideas.
That sounds like a great environment. I've always preferred working in places that encourage creative thinking.
Well, Sarah, I think we've covered everything. What are the next steps? We'll get back to you by next Tuesday with a decision.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time today. It was a pleasure meeting you.
The pleasure was mine. We'll be in touch soon. Have a great afternoon.
You too. Goodbye.
The grand lobby of the Global Business Summit 2024 hummed with a low murmur of anticipation and activity. Amidst the flurry of attendees, two professionals, Mr. Davies and Ms. Chen, spot each other, ready to commence their important discussions with the customary grace of corporate etiquette.
Good morning, Ms. Chen. I trust you are well.
Good morning, Mr. Davies. Yes, I'm very well, thank you. It's a pleasure to finally meet you in person.
The pleasure is all mine. I've been following your work on the Shanghai project with great interest.
That's very kind of you to say. The team has been working diligently. How was your journey in?
Quite smooth, thank you for asking. I arrived late yesterday evening. I hope I haven't kept you waiting long.
Not at all. I just arrived myself. Shall we proceed to the main conference room? The meeting is scheduled to begin promptly at 9.
Excellent. That sounds like a plan. After you, Ms. Chen.
Thank you, Mr. Davies.
It was a bright morning at the company headquarters. Eliza had been invited for an interview for a senior marketing role, a position she had been hoping for. As she entered the meeting room, she was greeted by Mr. Harris.
Good morning, Eliza. Please take a seat. I'm Mr. Harris, the hiring manager. Thank you for coming in today.
Good morning, Mr. Harris. Thank you for inviting me.
Let's start with your experience. You mentioned working at Tech Solutions for 3 years. Could you tell me about your main responsibilities there?
Yes, of course. My main role was as a junior marketing assistant. I was primarily responsible for managing the company's social media channels and creating content. I also helped organize events and tracked our campaign results.
That sounds interesting. Can you give me an example of a challenging situation you handled well?
Well, last year, we had a major problem with a product launch date. The marketing materials weren't ready. I had to quickly reorganize the team's schedule and delegate tasks to meet the new deadline. We managed to launch on time, and the campaign was successful.
That shows good problem-solving skills. Now, let's talk about your aspirations. Why are you interested in this senior marketing role at our company?
I'm really looking for a chance to grow my responsibilities. I admire your company's innovative approach, and this role would allow me to lead projects, which is something I aspire to do. I'm ready for the next step.
That's clear. Finally, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I hope to be a key part of your management team, possibly specializing in digital strategy. I'm committed to learning and taking on leadership responsibilities within the marketing department.
Thank you, Eliza. We've covered a lot. Do you have any questions for me about the role or the company?
Yes, just one. What kind of training opportunities are available for continuous professional development?
That's an excellent question. We offer several external courses and an internal mentorship program. We'll be in touch by the end of the week.
That sounds great. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Harris.
The virtual meeting is starting. Mark, the moderator, addresses the participants.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. We have a packed agenda today. Before we start, Sarah, I think your microphone is muted.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now? I'm having some trouble with the settings.
Yes, we can hear you clearly now. Just a quick reminder to everyone, please stay muted unless you are speaking.
Understood. I've also noticed that my video feed is frozen. Is the connection slow?
It happens. You might want to turn off your video temporarily. That often helps with the bandwidth.
Thanks for the tip. I'll do that right away. It's better to have clear audio than a choppy video.
Absolutely. Now, let's move to the quarterly budget review. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a question about the marketing spend. Should I raise my hand virtually?
Yes, please use the raise hand feature so I can see who is next in the queue. Sarah clicks the virtual hand icon. Thank you, Sarah. You have the floor. Please be mindful of the time, as we have a time constraint.
Of course. My question is, why did we allocate fewer resources to the social media campaign this quarter?
That's a good point. Let's look at the data on slide 7. The return on investment wasn't strong enough. A loud dog bark is heard from one of the participants. Someone might want to double-check their microphone. We're hearing some background noise.
I think that was David. It's hard to maintain professionalism when working from home.
I agree. David, could you please mute? Right, any final takeaways before we wrap up?
I'm clear on the budget now. Thanks for addressing my concerns.
My pleasure. We'll circulate the meeting minutes by the end of the day. Thanks, everyone. Claire approached David, who was reviewing some notes near the coffee machine.
Hi, David. Do you have a quick moment? I saw the schedule for the annual reviews.
Hi, Claire. Of course. Yes, they're starting next week. Are you feeling apprehensive about yours?
Not really apprehensive, but I want to be prepared. I'm hoping to get some genuine constructive feedback this year, not just generic praise.
That's a great approach. I actually think your performance this year has been very strong, especially with the launch of the new training module.
Thank you. But where can I improve? I feel like my presentation skills in client meetings still need some work. I tend to rush the delivery.
That's fair. We've noticed you sometimes lack confidence when presenting to senior stakeholders. It's less about rushing and more about pacing. I've got some specific evidence to share with you next week, highlighting where you excelled and where you can focus on development.
That would be really helpful, David. I'm keen to work on that. Are there any training courses or resources the company offers that could help?
Yes, absolutely. We have an excellent communication workshop run by an external consultant. I can definitely allocate budget for you to attend that next quarter. We also need to discuss your long-term goals. Are you still aiming for a leadership role?
Yes, that's my main objective. I want to start taking on more mentorship responsibilities within the team next year.
Perfect. Then we can structure your development plan around that. I'll make sure your next project involves managing a small sub-team.
That sounds fantastic. So, to summarize, focus on presentation pacing and communication, attend the external workshop, and start leading a sub-team.
Precisely. And remember, Claire, the review is a two-way conversation. Come ready with your own questions and suggestions.
Will do. Thanks for the heads up, David. This brief chat has already given me a clear direction.
My pleasure. I look forward to our meeting next Thursday.
Chloe is starting her first day at a professional coffee academy. She is nervous but excited to learn from Sam, the head barista.
Morning, Chloe. Ready to step up your coffee game?
I hope so, Sam. My espresso at home is always a mess.
Don't worry. Most people struggle at first. What's the main issue?
It's inconsistent. Sometimes it's too sour, other times it's very bitter.
That's common. We call that finding the sweet spot. Let's look at your grind.
I usually just buy pre-ground coffee. Is that okay?
Not really. Coffee starts to lose flavor the moment you grind it.
So I should look into buying a proper grinder.
Definitely. It's the most important tool in the shop. Look at these beans.
They smell amazing. How do I know if the grind is right?
If it's too coarse, the water flows too fast. That makes it sour.
And if it's too fine, it takes forever to drip.
Exactly. That leads to over-extraction, which creates that bitter taste.
I see. It's all about the timing and the pressure.
Spot on. Now, let's talk about the milk. Do you like lattes?
I love them, but my milk always looks like soap bubbles.
You're likely holding the steam one too high. You need to stretch the milk.
How do I do that without making a mess?
Just introduce a little air at the start, then submerge the wand to spin it.
So, the spin creates that velvety texture.
Yes, it creates microfoam. It should look like wet paint, not bubbles.
I'll try to remember that. What about the tamping part?
You need to press the coffee down evenly. If it's slanted, you get channeling.
Channeling. What does that mean?
It's when water finds a hole and skips the rest of the coffee. It ruins the flavor.
Wow, there's so much science involved. I'm looking forward to my first try.
Great. Let's set up the machine. Safety first, watch out for the hot water.
Ready when you are, Sam. Let's make some magic.
Maria is being interviewed for a marketing manager position at Innovate Solutions. The interview is Mr. Harrison.
Good morning, Maria. Thanks for coming in today. Please, take a seat.
Good morning, Mr. Harrison. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited to be here.
Excellent. So, let's start with you. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Certainly. I'm a highly motivated marketing professional with 5 years of experience in digital campaigns. I specialized in content strategy at my previous company, Global Connect.
Interesting. And what specifically made you apply for this role at Innovate Solutions?
I've been following Innovate Solutions' work for some time. Your innovative approach to sustainable marketing truly stands out to me. I believe my skills in market analysis and brand development would be a perfect fit.
That's great to hear. Can you walk me through a typical workday in your last position?
Of course. My days usually involved managing social media campaigns, analyzing SEO performance, and collaborating with the sales team to align our strategies. I often came up with new ideas for product launches.
Sounds very hands-on. What would you say is your greatest strength, and how would it benefit our team?
My greatest strength is my problem-solving ability. For example, when we faced a drop in engagement last quarter, I came up with a new interactive content series that boosted our user interaction by 20%.
Impressive. And what about a weakness? What's something you're actively working on?
I used to take on too many tasks at once, which sometimes led to feeling overwhelmed. Now, I focus on improving my time management and delegating effectively. I've been taking online courses in project management.
That shows great initiative. Finally, do you have any questions for me, Maria?
Yes, I do. Could you tell me more about the team dynamic? And what are the biggest challenges facing the marketing department right now?
Good questions. The team is very collaborative, and our main challenge is expanding into new markets. Thank you, Maria. We'll be in touch within the week.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. I look forward to hearing from you.